Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time this recording finds you it at. We say thank you. My name is Hudda. I'm here with my dear friends, Emily Jaye and Fatuma, and we are kicking off International Women's Day at the Boat Pod with our offerings of songs, meditations, reflections that we hope will nourish you, that will support you in these very, very trying times. We are, just very, very grateful to be here with you all today on March 8th. Well, we're recording, but again, whatever time you find this recording, it's the time. And so we're going to kick off with 3 beautiful tracks, and then we will reflect on those, and then we'll keep that rhythm going. So here we go.
Have a wounded in his soul today. If I have caused one foot to go astray, if I ever walk in my own way, fall away, dear Lord. My sins I now confess in thee. Forgive my secret sins, I do not see. Oh, bleed and guide me in my keeper be, dear Lord.
go into the darkness of the night, all alone. I'll walk the streets until I find someone who is just like me, searching for some company. Children of the night, late at night, a restless feeling takes control of me, and I can't fight it. Late at night, I feel the need for someone who, like me, needs understanding. Once again, I'll search the darkness of the night, all alone. I'll walk each street until I find someone who is just like me, searching for some company. Children of the night, children of the night. Children of the night. Children of the night.
Emily, Jade, inspired choices. Yeah, these are opening salvos, our opening offerings. Mahalia Jackson's An Evening Prayer, but specifically Newport 1958 version. You
So,
wanna
yeah.
speak a bit about it. For us.
So, when thinking about what songs we were going to play, and we were invited to bring some offerings, and we're always talking about what songs we want to bring, what songs. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
No, of course.
So,
you're doing
okay,
okay, yeah.
go back.
Mhm.
Mahalia Jackson, in my family, my mom always spoke about Mahalia Jackson and played it for us. It was always a name since I'm really young. The name, she's from New Orleans, born in New Orleans in 1911, and listened to her music when I was younger. And I know that there was a long line back in my family of listening to Mahalia Jackson. I mean, in my whole family. And looking into her music and realizing that this song, An Evening Prayer, was often a first song that she would play at a set, really to make a moment, to fully set a prayer to the space, to the people that were there, and to start the whole setting for the whole evening for the rest of the of her set. This was played on a Sunday morning. We are on Sunday today as well, at the 1958 Newport Jazz Festival in Rhode Island. And Rhode Island, do you want to say a little bit about
I mean,
this?
I think we felt this kind of analogy between our experience now. We're on our little, we're going to talk a little bit later about a Blue Nile, but we're on the Thames but we are in the belly of the beast.
Mm.
We are in the middle of the imperial metropole, and Rhode Island, much the same. Brown University, literally was, I think, a plantation, and the plantation economies that basically were the engine of the New World modernity, the space in which Black people were created, that we cannot, without getting too much, we can't think about our racial economies of anti-Blackness without thinking about the plantation. And we are in that kind of difficulty, that we are here and we have something to say. Mahalia is at Newport, and she shares her art, her creativity, and she's not unaware of a person who comes from sharecropping families, who come from descendants of enslaved Africans in the New World, in this space. And civil rights is not yet achieved, that there are people still fighting. 1958 is a time people are on the move. And I feel like that's the time that we're in today as well. People are on the move, things are shifting, and our freedom dreams are out there. And Mahalia was the soundtrack of revolution, soundtrack of the Black civil rights movement. And her spirituality, I think, was an anchoring for people navigating those difficult terrain. And I think we are only the inheritors. We hope to be the inheritors of people like that, people who created culture that was nourishing, that did something for us. And much in the same vein, our next track by Dorothy Ashby, beautiful, timeless, and so of the time as well. Do you want to talk a little bit more about why you chose that song?
So I also work with the tarot, and I started thinking maybe the tracks and all of the different pieces of music that come to us, that we listen to, that we choose in a moment, they are a form. They give us something in a moment. They give everybody their own moment, and we can read and get a lot from it, consciously or not even consciously. Our bodies listen to music, even what we can't hear with our ears, frequencies come into our bodies, and we play tracks and we listen to tracks and music for reasons that sometimes we don't even know. But there is a journey through our listening. There's a journey through songs and sounds that we play after each other. And Come Live With Me was the track that we played by Dorothy Ashby, a harpist, jazz harpist. Dorothy Ashby played at one of the last speeches that Malcolm X gave on the 14th of February 1965, a week before he was murdered, and was really part of the revolution and of the movement at the time, and really found a way to bring harp, to take harp out of the classical, very wide setting and bring it and make a new sound with it. And Afro Harping is her album, and we might even play more harp today. There's just a rhythm that we, after an evening prayer, we bring in the rhythm up a little bit.
And Fatuma is she's got a shirt now talking about frequencies, and I think that's something that's so important in your practice, like what music does to you, for your body, if you want to share anything.
Do you want to take this?
Thinking about like frequencies and rhythms, vibrations, and how really healing and nourishing they are. I think a lot of the track selections that we have now are really speaking to these kind of soul rhythms, these ancestral rhythms. I'm gonna play a track shortly, and it's a song about like longing, connection, how we bring each other together. It's by Miriam Mosul and Umar Dule, and it's called Burba Kugu Gudbane, and basically it's about longing and the distance between us. And I came across this track actually quite recently. It was through the amazing Idil Rashid, who is the founder of Wabiri Phone, which is a platform that a cultural archive of Somali music, culture, dance, and as someone in the diaspora who grew up in a context of always being away, being in diaspora, being a refugee, the idea of like this kind of soul tie connection and about the distance, about the mountains, how they bring us together, really kind of speaks to me. The song was recorded in the 80s, and it was like during the sort of oil boom in the Middle East, where lots of Somalis were moving abroad for other opportunities, and it kind of speaks to that distance. And then obviously, like, subsequently then there was the civil war and the refugee crisis, and again it's that longing and desire. And Miriam Musul is one of my favorite singers. She's like one of the few greats who's still around. So many of the amazing Somali female singers from the 60s, 70s and 80s have passed, and she's like still standing really strong. She's someone who is interesting because she straddled like the Western music industry and the Somali music industry. She's someone who like was releasing songs back in the 90s and early 2000s on Real World Records, run by Peter Gabriel. She was playing at like WOMAD Festival. But yeah, she's someone who's kind of gone through all these different like moments, and her voice is amazing and it stands the test of time.
And I feel like there's a connection between her and the track before by Cassandra Wilson, in terms of just the kind of, we'll talk about ancestral rhythms and what Cassandra Wilson, who's her, you know, her catalogue is just, I cannot even. But that type of longingness, I feel that that's a thread as well.
Exactly. And with all that being said, I'm gonna play the track shortly.
siduu ii barkaday burdo kama bogto ibarrinsayo waygu bahaye siduu ii barkaday burdo kama bogto ibarrinsayo waygu bahaye haddaan ku bukaa may bogsiin kartaa haddaan ku bukaa may bogsiin kartaa gurbaa kugu gudbane gurbaa kugu gudbane miyaad soo bixi kartaa
dhulka ilaa ballaadhe berya kama raagine dhulka igu ballaadhe may baxnaaninaysaa may baxnaaninaysaa birbaayagu jabsane iyo bogsaday
Gurba kugu gudbane Gurba kugu gudbane miyaad soo bixi kartaa
dhulka igu balaadhe berya kama raagine aha dhulka igu balaadhe may baxnaaninaysaa way may baxnaaninaysaa
Yeah, so this is the track that that you're hearing now is Burba Kugu Bane, which is like, I think it roughly translates the mountains between us. But yeah, I think it's kind of, again, as I said, like, it's about like that longing when you're away from your loved one. And I think that, yeah, it's all about like connection and loss and all of those, all those really difficult emotions.
And why?
Oh yeah, and it's a hair song. So sorry, which is basically a type of song poem in Somali. It's kind of derives from a lot of songs that basically a lot of like comes from like work songs about like camels, all these different things. So like, yeah, Somali music at its foundation is like really about like the rhythm of everyday life. And it's interesting because love songs was really like frowned upon. So like the names for Somali love songs, Belwo, and which basically Belwo means like addiction. And so like the foundation of Somali love songs is has like a really kind of negative connotation. But yeah, and in the Western context as well. But yeah, that's
and just the loss and what is and where home is and how do we bring home with us in ourselves, because we have to leave home, and past generations always having to create new homes, and where do we bring home? And in the title for Dorothy Ashby's song was also "Come Live With Me." What does that mean? Inviting into home. Where is home? Especially in the times that we are in, where home is not something that everybody has a right to, like, it doesn't mean anything for a lot of people, because home is something that's removed and people have to just stay somewhere that is somewhat safe for a certain period of time. But in some areas right now, not at all even, and just home as a theme that we are bringing into the set today as well, to listen through different of the different pieces.
And they're all from like different parts of the world, and they kind of, again, different contexts. So you've got like US civil rights movement, you've got like Somalia during like the sort of the heyday of like funk and just general like cultural production. And yeah, we've got Miriam Makeba as well, again, like South Africa, you're going to be hearing later on, in terms of like the anti-apartheid movement. All very strong women who've experienced like in some ways a kind of exile. I think that's kind of important to note as well.
I also wanted to mark this day in the Islamic calendar in the middle of Ramadan, and today is the 19th of Ramadan, which was the date 9 years ago now of the Grenfell fire, which took place not too far away from here. And many of the people in the boat pod have got relationships to Ladbroke Grove and West London, and all of us from London, from the UK, felt and continue to feel the loss of Grenfell. Homes were destroyed, people who've not been able to return back to North Kensington again. And it's not lost upon us that this war on homes and refugee crisis and the narratives of a migrant crisis, these words crisis, And what do they mean? And what is our culture responding to? Is our culture responding to these things? We have attempted to share with you musicians who have taken the call seriously, something that reflects our lives and something that we can take with us, that gives us nourishment, but also perhaps challenges power as well in their ways. But as I said, we're in the middle of Babylon, and we are therefore we recognize, I think, even more easily how interconnected all these challenges are. But yes, exile and home. What does it mean to find home? In ourselves and with each other, and in place and situatedness. So you're hearing the dulcet tones of people who are taking that charge seriously. Oh, sorry. And I think we'll go with Miriam McKevan next. Yeah. Do you know, actually, I take that back. Our next song will be, continuation of our conversation about home. We are, of course, on the River Thames, our little Blue Nile, but the Blue Nile being home, nourishment for millions of people, spiritually, economically, everything, and a very contested part of the world as well. But also this song, and Emily, maybe you may want to talk more about this, was written at a time of deep pain for Alice. Yeah.
It's from the record Ta El Daoud, which was recorded in 1970, 3 years after Alice Coltrane's husband, John Coltrane, passed away. And it's an enormous attempt start at healing and grieving, deep grieving and emotional healing, and through really realizing to go internal more. Alice Coltrane she started off as she's a multi-instrumentalist, but piano player, but started taking on the harp from 1967, right after her husband passed away. And this entire album is so incredibly, yeah. Some pieces of music don't really have a way to describe, I think, and just speak for themselves so much, and we just have to accept it or be present to it.
Absolutely. And I think about grief in terms of being unmoored, that so often we find home in people, and when they return, you feel bereft, literally, unmoored, homeless. And I love this project because it was a sense of honoring that, but also resituating herself in a world without Coltrane, and all of us live in a world without Coltrane. But what can be created when we really take ourselves seriously, including our pain? So, beautiful song.
So beautiful. And just continuing thinking about home and the meaning of the Nile and of Egypt and Sudan and various places in the world that speak to home to us, even if we have never set foot there, even if we might never set foot there.
Absolutely. I think that Africa and Egypt particularly, and the Nile, and all the places that the Nile nourishes, have been at the center of freedom dreams for Africans across the diaspora. And this kind of this thread, and it's something so beautiful that Alice Coltrane sort of draws upon these nourishing waters of the Nile. It's and not to get too much, but it feels very biblical right now out here. We have people drawing on mythologies and understandings of the world that are ancient, that we were kind of told we're so modern, we're so beyond these things, but actually there is something there for us to learn still. And so I'm here for Alice Coltrane's interpretation. Thank you very much. And in that theme about Africa and home, our next track is by the amazing South African singer, activist. That word activist is so overplayed these days, unfortunately, but Miriam Makeba comes from a staple of South African singers who were forced into exile, who fought for the rights of ostensibly their homeland. But this song, A Luta Continua, she is speaking about Mozambique and the wars in southern Africa. And I feel like there's a rhyme to what's happening today in now Lebanon, Palestine, of course, Iran, these kind of overspillings as empire knows it's dying and lashes out, that the work is to be done. A luta continua, the struggle continues, by Mary Makeba.
My people, open your eyes and answer the call of the drum. Frelimo, Frelimo, Samora Machel, Samora Machel has come. Maputo, Maputo, home of the brave, our nation will soon be as one. Frelimo, Frelimo, Samora Machel, Samora Machel has won. And to those who have given their lives, praises to thee, husbands and wives, all thy children shall reap what you've sown. This continent is a home. My brothers and sisters, stand up and sing. Eduardo Montani is not gone. Frelimo, Frelimo, your eternal flame has shown us the light of dawn. Mozambique, a luta continua, mato Seliana Ubui sininoto Seliana Seliana Matola Seveleni Seliana Jabulani Bagiti Seliana Busiga Buzulile Shashisa Nimani Misimu Ekaya Fanyalani Beu Seliana Busiga Buzulile Seliana Seliana Siabonga Gue somandla Uizwile Yongini tandazo etu Siabonga Bao Siabonga Gue somandla Uizwile Ongimi tandazo yetu Siabonga Bao Seliana Sipeli Liso Miso Seliana Nishaya Izugoto Siabonga Bao Siabonga Bao Siabulela Gwemtaliwe
Sfar Mandalosi's rendition of Seliana, a classic jazz standard, South Africa. Absolutely amazing singer, artist. Her projects are so powerful, and it really got me through lockdown, actually, this whole album. And there's people who are not quite the born free generation, but young people who went into desegregated schools, and the continuing struggle against neoliberal structural adjustment loans, a brain drain, a democracy not yet realized, whatever democracy means in this time of war. But there's not just a conversation between Miriam and Sfar, both being South African singers, but also a continuation of the struggle. And there's something gorgeous about listening to beautiful music by different people, that everybody has every version of Seliana I love, and this version I love the most because I love Sfar Mandalosi the most. But you can do this so many different ways. That the way you do it isn't the same way as other people do it. But if anything that I've taken from our sort of opportunity, this kind of our offerings, is also another story about time. So the next track is, I'm going to let this track speak for itself, and then I'll speak about why I chose it later. But I didn't know what time it was.
I didn't know what time it was. Then I met you. Oh, what a lovely time it was. How sublime it was too. I did not know what day it was. You held my hand, warm like the month of May it was, and I'll say it was grand, grand to be alive, to be young, to be mad, to be yours alone. Grand to see your face, hear your voice, feel your touch, say I'm all your own. I did not know what year it was. Life was no prize. I wanted love, and there it was, shining out of your eyes. I'm wise, and I know what time it is now. Then I met you. Oh, what a glad it was you. I did not know what day it was. You held my hand, warm like the month of May it was, and I'll say it was grand, grand to see your face, to be young, to be mad, to be yours alone. Grand to see your face, feel your touch, hear your voice, say I'm all your own. I did not know what year it was. Life was no prize. I wanted love, and there it was, shining out of your eyes. I'm wise, and I know what time it is now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You don't know how much I love this song. Like Cecile is and so many projects. I think this was her first album, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Cecile Mechon Savant, please. I apologize if I butchered your name. As if we don't know actually. We send these offerings out there. You don't know if it gets to people, but listening to that song and it's a beautiful jazz standard as well. It's another gorgeous jazz standard. So many amazing singers over the years have taken this, but her interpretation just aren't it. Because we give meaning to time. People give meaning to time. I didn't know what time it was until I saw you. I'm thinking so much about what it takes to win. What it takes to win whatever goal that you have. There's this, I keep thinking about this phrase, and someone says it's like a one of those like Persian sayings, Allahu Alam, God knows, but it's to say that there are no losses. There's either all losses are psychological until death, or there are no losses until death, both meanings, which is to say you don't know what steps you needed to take for you to get to where you need to go. So these kind of stories to say, you failed, you missed it, what are you going to do now? No, life doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. And Fatuma, we've been having this kind of extended conversation about time because you've been reading this really interesting text. Do you want to share a little bit about it?
Yes, I've been reading Dismantling the Master's Clock by Rashida Phillips, and essentially it's exploring different modes and forms of time. So often we think about like the Western clock, the 24-hour clock, the 12-hour clock, and a lot of that is punctuated by the beginning of capitalism. So how we think about time now, this linear time, is influenced by like how do we become more productive? How do we feed into a structure that empowers a very, very small minority of people and disenfranchises the most marginal? In the context of somewhere like Somalia, like where I'm from, the day starts at what is considered to be 6 a.m. because it's near the equator and we have 12-hour days. So the night and the day are pretty much equal. And so when they have conceptions of time, it's based in that framework. And also it's framed by like what you can, by like the seasons as well, or like by what you can do in terms of like agriculture. So if you've only got so much daytime, then that is what you produce, or like, so you're not spending the whole day like producing. You're thinking about like, the seasons, the weather, and then you operate in that way. And, under capitalism, so much of it is irrespective of like what season it is, you're always producing. There's no like waxing and waning. There's no like ideas of being able to have, the idea of like a fallow year, like, how like Glastonbury Festival, every 4 years they don't put on the festival because they want to regrow the grass and basically like improve the soil. And so many of us, we operate where we're constantly taking and producing and not thinking about like how we can nourish ourselves and how we can step back. And I think I've been thinking about that a lot over the past couple of years in terms of like how I think about work, labor, health, and so much of it is like, actually, why don't, instead of thinking about how I can be most productive within capitalism, it's like, how can I be a person who values my time? Because your time is your power. Like, this is a random quote, but I think it's quite useful in this context. So the founder of Netflix says that he doesn't compete with like other broadcast platforms or like other streaming services. He competes with sleep because he wants to be able to monetize every aspect. And actually, like, if we're constantly having our attention and our time taken by other things, then we're not using our time and attention to enrich ourselves. We're not using it for revolution. We're not using it for community. And so that's kind of how I've been thinking about it. I'm going to kind of segue slightly into the track that I'm going to play, and it's called Nam, and it's by Christy Azuma and the Upper International. And the reason why I'm playing this is because on Friday it was Ghana's Independence Day. Ghana was the first free African nation. Ghana, you know, for many African countries was this huge emblem of like possibility. And even today, I think Ghana kind of represents that. And I've always got a soft spot for Ghana. Although this song wasn't written at the time, it's just such a beautiful track. And I heard it in the film, a film that I watched a couple of years ago. I think it was, God, I forgot the name of the film.
It'll come to you.
Yeah.
It'll come to you.
All you have to know that this is a really beautiful track, and that Chrissy Azuma's got such an incredible, beautiful voice. This is Nam.
We can
from us. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just gonna pass over to
Thank you so much. A luta continua.
100%. We've been Hudda, Emily Jaye, and Fatuma. You're listening to us on the Boat Pod. If you liked what you heard, and only if you liked what you heard, please. We're here for good times. Please drop us a line. Say, Boat Pod, all the socials. Follow us on Instagram. Download the app if you have that capacity to. And yeah, I hope whatever time you find this, you are able to take nourishment from that. As Emily said, a luta continua. We're here to win. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're supposed to salute.
And yeah, we're going to salute because we're